I've hit the key. It is now. We are now live.
Dear God. Woohoo!
Excellent.
Yeah, it says it's live. It says it's live right there.
Yeah.
My phone.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I wonder if we look cool.
Oh, hang on.
Oh, yeah, we do.
So if YouTube is to be believed, we are live. Welcome, friends.
I don't think there's video. Sorry. Go ahead.
Pardon?
It's just a splash screen.
Yes, that's correct. Yes, I have just the splash screen up right now so that when we have the lovely transition over to everyone's beautiful faces, which I believe will occur now.
We didn't rehearse this, kids.
So, doing live videos without a net.
Exactly
That's us.
Right. What could possibly go wrong?
So I believe we are all on the screen now. If someone, okay, all right. So welcome. On the suggestion of friends, we have chosen to go ahead and put this session out here. This will be the first time that I'm going to be running Fantasy Flight, Genesis, or any of those games. And so my familiarity level is going to be just okay. And when it comes to the streaming setup, this is going to be a hot mess because we're using the Owen Mead dice roller. And so in order to get that on the screen, I think one of my companions here will be doing some screen shares where it's appropriate, but we will be just discussing for the most part. With that in mind, let's first paint a picture, a cinematic canvas. The planet of Scyntylla is the nearest world to a pair of suns in the mid-rim, and the Battle of Yavin and the news of the Death Star's destruction has just filtered all across the Empire, and so there's the shockwaves from that are something that would clog up your social media feed were this to be not a space fantasy. And against that canvas, this planet it has these rolling pink skies, clouds to every horizon. For the atmosphere is so thick that it hangs like a blanket over the lower reaches of the planet, and only at the greatest heights, where the Alps or the Himalayas would be on a world like our own, do the grasses grow, and it's nice and hospitable and comfortable for our own. Upon this world, that is all I will say now, for we will allow the magic of Star Wars to paint the rest of this. A Lambda class shuttle with its trident shape, it carves through these clouds, and abreast of it is a pod of sky whales. And its winglets are just rising above the cloud tops, and as our camera peers inside through its cockpit window, we see a droid at the helm.
Why, yes, we do. That's me. I'm IV 1V4N. Astrogation droid.
And as we look in just behind the cockpit, you can see that there's about a score of young men who are exhausted from a week of training. They're all in the jumpsuits of the Imperial Army, and then there's an odd man out who is holding a manacled prisoner. In the front row of the passenger section of the aircraft.
That'll be me. I'm playing Davian Sur, police officer in Scyntylla, and a human commander tactician.
The prisoner is a raven-haired woman, nearing 50, and she is a roguish type, the sort of undesirable pirate which has plagued the Mid-Rim in these years since the Separatists have caved and the new empire has risen up. Of course, she's bereft of her pistol or any danger, and so she raises an eyebrow, and she manages to. She's reaching into her jacket to try and withdraw something, and against this moment, something is going to happen on to the aircraft. And something unfortunate. So we need to know about the destiny pool for this next moment in the game.
That's right. That's right. We need to roll our destiny pools, and let's see. Here we go. 1 die. Oh, not a good start. I got 1 dark side point, and we're missing Ivan.
Am I putting something in as well?
Yeah, one of the die, white die.
All right.
Roll one of those.
Okay, no problem. I will roll a white die. Let's see if I do this correctly. All righty. Ready?
Ready.
Yep. 2 dark side points on the board. Not an auspicious start.
Well, with
That wasn't my fault.
with that in mind, one of those points of destiny flips, and
Ooh.
in perhaps the somewhat comical fashion, which we sometimes see in the newer films, one of the creatures of this vast sky, which is there's bulbous plants which occasionally loft into the highest layers, and there's little gliding creatures, and there's a copious numbers of spiders use the web strand method of gliding, using the electric currents of this planet, and in an unfortunate moment, one of these spiders glides just in front of the air intake for the engine, and the engine coughs suddenly.
Oh.
And it makes a sad shrieking noise.
Oh no.
That's bad. That's bad.
And the engine begins to cough.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. I'm going to attempt to hold the ship steady at this exact moment.
Okay, so we will. There will be a setback die because of the electric fields and the hostile nature of this. The attempt to actually keep the aircraft under control, I believe, is just a normal difficulty. So 2 green dice.
Purples.
Purples. Okay.
Oh yeah, two d8s.
Okay, gotcha. They're all D8. Well, a bunch of them are D8s. All right, man. I'm going to go back to this dice app here. And so I'm going to use. I guess we're going to call this planetary piloting as opposed to star pilot.
It's technically a spaceship, so
It is a spaceship.
Good.
So I
Excellent. You are magnanimous, sir, because I am actually quite skilled in that. So we're going to call this 2 purple dice as far as difficulty. And there's a black setback die?
That is correct. But I believe that you have a talent.
I'm a skilled jockey. I'm pretty good at this. So everything's under control, folks. We probably won't die. At least, well, I really can't die. Technically, I could be deactivated. And, ooh.
Nice. That is 1 success and 1 threat on the board.
That is correct. Woo!
So 1 net success?
1 net success.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And 1 threat.
So handily, you managed to yank the stick above the cloud layer. Only one of the atmospheric engines of the craft is functioning. So it's the repulsors are kind of just lofting it, and the lifting shape of the wing is faltering. The prisoner in in the back of the craft takes the moment to attempt some sleight of hand, and this will be an opposed test of your vigilance, Davian Sur.
Mm-hmm. Yes, excellent.
And let me tell you, it's a brilliant way in which I really kind of managed to gain control of the ship. And
Absolutely.
pull it up.
I mean, whatever skepticism these young Imperial troopers have of the of this droid pilot, since pilots are in such short supply, their somewhat their confidence is buoyed.
I don't care about their confidence.
What's the difficulty here?
So she is going to be a red and a purple.
Uh-huh. Red and a purple. All right. So yeah. So I got 2 greens and a yellow, and let's see what happens. And
a setback die.
Huh?
Setback die.
Oh, setback die because of the turbulence.
Yes.
Yeah.
What turbulence? We're
sure.
fine.
Let's see what happens. Oh, really bad.
Oh, that's awful.
Really, really bad. That is a despair, a failure, but 3 advantage. So, a little silver lining.
Tell us about this advantage after he tells us about everything else.
Yeah, we'll try and look for the silver lining after the storm hits.
Okay.
Davian is holding on to the superstructure when the ship is shaking, while 1v4N tries to regain control of the ship.
What do you mean tries? I have complete control of the ship.
And with that, a cigarette is it rests between her lips. Whatever happened in the interval during the turbulence is unknown.
It's lost.
It's entirely lost. What might have occurred. Hey boss, you got a light?
There's no smoking in these flights. Safety regulations. We'll get you lit up when we land if you behave.
The straight-laced lieutenant of the young troopers looks scornfully at the woman, and he ponders whether this local law enforcement officer has the right tack with these criminals.
So I got a question out of character for a second. I know despair seems to be hidden, but what are the 3 advantages by us or astute or Davian?
I think it is to Davian, in fact, to tell us.
Seeing as you completely botched figuring out what she was doing.
I'll call on maybe. I did kind of see something out of the corner of my eye, so I'm a little bit suspicious. So if she tries something, maybe the next time she tries it, maybe I can get a boost dice, because I'm now that I figure that she's up to something. I don't like her look, so maybe I'm more vigilant for next time. So next time she tries, I'll get an advantage, a boost die.
Okay.
To see what she's up to.
All right. The whatever is going on with the engine is a lingering issue, and it'll be, there's one more pickup before moving on to the next world with this shuttle, taking these men back to their place. And the landing pad is before you. Just as things start to calm down again, the soldiers are grasping their packs and hoping to stretch their legs at the next stop, which is Mott's Landing.
Gotcha. Well, I'm gonna try to land this vessel without killing us all.
It's easy.
Okay. I'm still going to announce that I'm going to try to land the vessel without killing us all.
Okay.
Hold on. This could be bad.
Not inspiring much confidence, pilot. Are you sure you got this?
I am, but we're going to need to get this engine. We're going to need to get this engine repaired. So, I'm not feeling very confident about bringing the troops to their final destination. Not like this.
Perched on a cliffside, Mott's Landing is the sort of place that is less than savory, but that's because it's also a place of bustling commerce at a time like this, because there's a giant hurricane hurtling towards the plateau, and so just on the cliffside, in these viewing galleries, where there's kind of a dive bar among the kind of the various speeders and the herdsmen from the interior of the plateau, who call themselves shepherds. They're sort of a religious type, and one of them, there's three of them that are seen praying in a lotus position just above the bar, and they seem to remark upon the sky whale, which is just behind your craft, and they hold out their arms and they point towards it, and so just as the Lambda shuttle curls up, the whale dives back into the deeps, and the normal landing procedure with the various gas jets and all that nonsense starts to take up. The lieutenant dismisses his men to Skylark on the landing pad, and he comes up into the cockpit. What was that back there?
What was what?
What happened to the shuttle?
Oh, we sucked one of those spiders into the engine. One of the engines is completely destroyed. We're going to have to get repairs.
Just as well. These men are tired. They could use some refreshment. You have until nightfall. As for your prisoner, I expect that you still have the situation still in hand, Officer Davian.
Yes. We still have a couple of hours then. Is there a repair crew coming out to fix the shuttle?
So Mott's Landing is relatively crowded, and this is in anticipation. There's all these kind of ramshackle craft crowding its landing pads, and so there's probably someone that can fix it here. But it's also, everyone is a little taken aback to see this Imperial shuttle pull up. And so there's a wide berth afforded by all the normal kind of starport no-do-gooders, ne'er-do-wells that might be offering you something.
Davian goes up to the cockpit as well and says, 1V, Lieutenant tells me we need repairs and it's going to be a couple of hours at least. What's the status on that storm? Can you link up with the computer, with the port computer? Maybe it has more updated weather data.
I can look. It looks like it'll probably kill us all, but hold on. And I don't know if this is astrogation or whether it's or what I'm gonna. Let's see. But that's what my intention is, to just see if I can find anything else about the storm. Computers, I'm not sure. What
I think computers is in fact probably the right kind of role for this sort of research.
Okay. And how difficult are we going to call this? Trying to figure out.
It really ought to be easy.
Yeah. So we're calling that 1?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Okay. Oh, well, I'm very successful. So I know everything there is to know about the storm practically. So what is that?
So this is a very typical hurricane, and in fact, because it coincides with the bloom season of some of the aerial plants, there's a great deal of the grazing animals are going to be driven. There's lots of things that don't bother to have very good maneuverability because there's so much abundance in the atmosphere, and so kind of right behind you. You're 20 miles on your tail is it's sort of like a herd of buffalo that's going to crash into this cliff, and so it's a feast of meat and of animal products, and so it's another day at the office. These hurricanes are unfortunately, or as you like it, they're the bread and butter of this world, Scyntylla.
Right. So I look intently at the screen. I get the idea of what's coming. Of the fact that I look taking in the fact that it's this time of year, the conditions, the fauna, the megafauna that are becoming this way. I turn back to the gut. We're doomed.
We won't have enough time to do repairs and get airborne.
Well, that depends on how fast the repair crew can come and fix the ship. But I don't know. Even if we get repaired, once we get aloft. Well, there's going to be all kinds of debris. It'll be like going through an asteroid field, except big, giant meat asteroids. I love organics.
I'll see if you can get an estimate from a repair crew, because otherwise we might have to procure lodging until the hurricane blows over before we try and take off again.
Would you like to see a menu as well?
No. But knowing if we need accommodation, an issue. I do have a prisoner to look after.
Okay, fine. I'll go ahead and see if I can get any kind of estimate on a repair crew. I'm just plugging away into the channel, seeing if I found anything from the lieutenant.
She flicks the remainder of her cigarette, and it lands upon one of the soldiers' rucksacks, which is left behind on his seat, and blows a perfect smoke ring. Either you folks up there gonna untie me, or I'm just gonna spend the afternoon inside the shuttlecraft.
No, you stay put until we figure out if we're gonna have a layover here for a couple of hours, or if we can actually get back on the air. Don't go getting any ideas. You have to stay overnight. I'm putting you in the local jail.
Well, I'll catch up with my old friends then.
What's her name? Do we have a name of my prisoner?
So, you believe it to be a nom de plume. This is she's known. She's been arrested under the name Carvis Anto, which is a Corellian man's name.
Interesting.
I'm radioing my lieutenant, or the lieutenant, not my lieutenant, the lieutenant that was in charge of the shuttle.
Okay.
Lieutenant?
I 1V.
Yes, do we have any kind of estimate on a repair crew? There is a storm coming.
The shuttle is your responsibility, droid. It is it's at least to the planetary government, and it's their responsibility to pay for it out of their coffers. The Imperial Army doesn't concern itself with repairing minor transport vehicles.
I'm sorry, there seems to be some kind of interference, sir. I'm having trouble reading you. I'll try to call you later. I just click it off. And the transmission. This is wonderful. My job to repair the ship. Okay, well, I suppose I need to find somebody to repair the ship because the lieutenant wants to die, and I really don't want to. So, care to join me, or would you like to stay on the shuttle?
It sounds like we'll probably be in for a layover. So let's go out. And you, curvist, let's go. Let's see about finding accommodations for you overnight. I have a comm link, and I want to see if I can contact the local law office. I don't know if it's sheriff or the equivalent of the.
There's a constable in a place like this. Absolutely.
Exactly. So I want to. I don't know what my exact. I'm gonna call myself lieutenant? Nah, lieutenant's already taken. Officer. Let's go with officer. Very non-committal. And this is what's the name of this place again?
Mott's Landing.
Mott's Landing.
MOTT.
So, yeah. Got it. So I'll go Mott's Landing, constabulary. This is Officer Davian Sur, requesting access to the local jail.
So I imagine that by this time, yourself, the prisoner, and 1V are perhaps walking along the landing pad, which juts out into the and it's it's cantilevered out like half a bridge on the precipice of the plateau, and so you're walking towards the cliffside and towards the town, as it were, as you're on the communicator. Would that be?
Yeah, that's reasonable. I
Okay.
figured maybe I got her in front of me. She's got her binders on, so I was like
Okay.
walking right beside her and talking on the call.
Yeah, and 1V's going along looking for anybody that looks like they might be, repair crews for hire or whatnot. And 1V he's about 6 feet tall. He's essentially the same build or model as an Imperial droid, but smaller, not this big, gigantic hulking thing. Certainly wasn't built for piloting, but has been can program and given other algorithms to do that sort of thing from one of his owners, which used to be a hut, as we found from our adventures from long ago.
I imagine perhaps he has that sort of slightness of build, that gauntness of the IG series, perhaps?
Maybe. Not too gaunt, but gaunt enough. More flexible than like a protocol droid.
I see.
Not the most human-looking thing in the entire world, but who cares? He doesn't want to look like an organic.
Well, the droid's frame is ogled for its usefulness by the various whalers preparing their craft docked to the various landing pads, and it seems like some of them are at work on their crafts, festooning them with meat hooks and various implements to reap as much of the bounty that is to come with the hurricane as possible.
The whales. The one thing they might notice on IV's hip, which is very, very odd, is a blaster carbine, which he picked up in a bar, of all places, some time ago. Very kind of odd. He doesn't flash something around when he's hauling the Imperial troops, but he feels somewhat more comfortable with this ridiculous weapon.
Fair enough. It is not uncommon among the sisters worlds to see people who go about armed. It is somewhat less common to see a droid thus so, but there may be some mark upon 1V or not, as he is he's gotten recruited, or perhaps is property of the state for this local transport service. So people are, they're like, okay, it's a droid with a gun. See something new all the time. But it's also a sour memory, for these worlds were not without trouble during the Separatist era. And in fact, these worlds were... let's just say that some of these whalers' crafts have battle droid heads as trophies still. Perhaps, they're going on 20 years old, but there's one of them that's got like about 8 battle droids hung up on the side of the craft. And he looks at you with an especially sour look. So the constabulary answers your communique call. Just as you're passing the archway, the threshold, and there's several peddlers. There's in the archway. There's some hustlers, probably some pimps or some drug dealers that are hanging out. Like, hey, you need anything? There's a couple guys that try and accost you as you're just passing the threshold, and then they get a little close and they see you're a cop. And they're like, have a nice day. And just as this happens, your communicator lights back up. This is Naut's Landing Constabulary. How can I help you?
I need access to the jail.
Mm-hmm.
It seems we are stuck here due to the weather and repairs for our craft. So I need a secure place to stow this prisoner until the repairs can be completed.
Yeah. All right. As secure as it is, the jail is, it's pretty secure. I like it. It's a good one. It's a good jail.
Excellent, Constable.
Yeah. You're welcome to give it a spin. All right. Yeah.
Yeah. We're on our way. One prisoner.
Oh, okay. All right. So maybe we should cut to 1V seeking out some sort of repair in whatever venue that might be. Of course, I'm itching to get a space bar scene, but I don't want to jump the shark.
Oh no, of course not. No, we're going to go right for the space bar. We're walking past all the guys in the ships with the battle droid heads. I realize this probably isn't my best shot we're getting. I'm not really sure what I did, but I feel much better having the carbine on myself. I figure I can take down a couple inferior organics. So I look around and I know that you can always find just about anything in a bar, even a carbine. So I'm assuming that the constable is not with me.
No, he parts ways and takes a lift.
He parts ways.
Yeah.
So I walk into the seediest, nastiest looking bar I can possibly find.
Very good. Well, there's only one bar, so that's not hard to do.
Okay.
It takes all kinds, including the unsavory types that accosted you at the gateway of the settlement. Within, there's a diversity of folk. There's continues to be these. There's a fair number of these shepherds who, while abstemious, are enjoying the grub, and they you notice now that they keep a line of white clay across their foreheads and down the bridge of their nose.
Charming.
They're human. There's Ithorians. Well,
yes. So there's a significant population of both humans. There's a diaspora of Ithorians, and then there are there's a Duros. There's a line of Duros that has initially colonized the Five Sisters, and is something like 30 or 40% of the folks. But owing to the nature of this, it's more like 1 in 20 folk here are Duros, because it's a bloody business, the whaling, and it's not to their temperament.
Gotcha. Well, I'm going to scan the bar, looking for anybody that looks like they might be a mechanic. I'm looking for like all the various accoutrement or the hands of a mechanic.
Yeah,
but also looking for somebody that might look like they'd be willing to. They need work. not a desperate kind of need work sort of way, but you know,
Well,
not just anybody.
well, there's a chubby-faced man who definitely spends as fast as he earns, and
Right. There
and you see, well, I don't know, I think this is an it's an easy streetwise roll, but there'd be a setback die because you're unfamiliar with this joint.
Okay. Excellent. So that is 2 greens for my straight and purple for the difficulty, and 1 black for the setback. And
Success and threat. Wait,
success
is
and
that
threat.
it? Are you missing a die? Or there's setback die? It's 2 purples, 2 yellows, and 1. Wait, am I reading the right column?
I'm looking for where it is.
You're all rolling 2 greens. So next to the roll button, there's a reset, and there's the 3 dots, and the second one says clear result. Let's try and do that, and maybe roll it again and see. Because I don't think that's your right die pool, is it?
Not sure. Yeah, I'm looking for where the roll would have ended up. And I'm not seeing it.
So maybe clear the screen and roll it again, because I don't see it either.
Yeah,
Okay,
let's flush.
Let's try. Here we go. 2 of those. 1 of those. 1 of these. Roll.
There we go.
Ah, there we are.
Uh-oh.
And then it spammed out a ton of it at once.
Yeah. Well, it's 3 successes and 2 threats, so that's still pretty good.
Really? Where is it? I don't see it.
Oh, no, I see. It repeated. There we go.
Yeah. Oh, that's weird. That's the first glitch we've had in this site.
Gotcha.
All right. So
It does seem to be 3 successes and 2 threat.
it's the most popular result, at least.
So you get the measure of the man.
Gotcha.
And he gets the measure of you somewhat. And you notice that he takes a bad turn at cards, and as he does so, the good time girl who was hanging on his arm takes her leave just as he does so, and he shrugs. He says, "Better luck next time." He's a bit grimy. I mean, he also didn't. He's wearing his jumpsuit, and he definitely works as much as he plays, and he's grease faced, and has a few tools tucked into his jumpsuit. Hey, what do you want, droid? I see you sizing me up.
Hello, sir. I am 1V4N. I require a mechanic for our shuttle. I was hoping to find somebody that was needed work and was willing to fix it in short notice.
All right.
As I understand, the planetary government is responsible for our shuttle, so I'm sure you'll be well compensated.
I'll take a look at it. Maybe it's a quick fix.
Of course. You do appear to be in need of fast compensation. Come with me.
All right.
And I saunter off just completely impatiently, not, assuming he's going to follow me.
He nods to the barkeep and he says, "I got you." So you remand the prisoner into the local jail. The local constable is reading comic books and drinking, which is it could be worse. It is a little bit late in the evening. You're a prisoner, is somewhat disappointed to see that the jail is empty, and she says, "Well, all right, such is life. You come back for me now, won't you?"
Let's get into jail and take those cuffs off you. Maybe we'll see if we can get you something to eat. Doesn't seem to be a very busy place, so in you go.
So as you get her in here, you see that it is relatively busy. It was probably a drunk tank only last night, given that no one has cleaned up the puke. Such fine accommodations. I thought I told you that I only like linen sheets.
Yeah, I bet you do. You're going to have to request the front desk to send you some of those. Go in.
All right. Have it your way. You have a good time tonight.
We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
All right. So with that in mind, where does Davian go following that?
Sure. I'll just leave contact the number with the constable. Make sure he's got my number, and and I want to go look for 1V again.
Okay.
To see if I can get a more updated estimate. Right.
Okay.
With the repairs to see how that's going.
All right. So you get the lift down. The constabulary is kind of perched on a tower at the top of the plateau, and it seems like it occasionally it has its own bank of speeders for traveling the plateau. It has several cop cars. So you get the lift back down to the main concourse of the settlement. And you see the bar, and you see 1V leaving with this portly gentleman.
1V.
Yes. What is it, Constable?
How is the repair situation going?
Oh, it's fine, but it's almost done.
Excellent.
Our friend here is going to repair it.
Oh, well.
And his name is, well, ask him his name.
I told you my name was Severin Domingo, and if you don't remember, that's fine. Or I don't remember if I told you.
I'm going to repair the ship.
Get any coffee? Can we stop for a coffee?
How about you give us an estimate of those repairs?
All right, fair enough. And now, as you're about to go back down the concourse, there's a sort of a programmatic moment where the pace of the film is suddenly takes a turn. And everyone's communicators throughout the settlement suddenly start to alight, and then everyone's phone rings suddenly, like we are all too familiar when there's a local incident, and people gather around the holovids. At the cafes that have holovids out front, and there's some sort of event which is happening.
I do have a comm link, so I check to see what it is. It must be the storm. Probably asking everybody to stay indoors and be safe. I'll take a look at the comm link.
Okay. All right, let me summon this up. Okay. So, reading a very prepared statement, a local politician that has been very aligned with the escalating influence of the empire locally is saying, after the terrorist actions that destroyed the Death Star, it is the Empire's finding that any of the peoples who commonly are found to have talents using the power known as the Force are to be deported for their own safety to the Imperial Core, where they will be afforded the best housing and I ask everyone in this difficult time to remain calm, blah blah blah, blah blah. And so the press conference is going on, and it's sort of drowning out the ability to get any other information from the holovids, which is happening suddenly. But you notice that all the shepherds, the folk with the painted faces, suddenly begin to take their leave of Mott's Landing, and conclude their business.
Oh, Karabast. This is insane. Are they going to start rounding up the shepherds now? Out of your question, I left my son wide open for this situation.
Yeah, I imagine, that over the years, I don't know how to get this into a good exposition form, but yes, I imagine that your son is with the shepherds, perhaps on Gorham, where there's they typically have the most room for people to attempt to novitiate, to learn their ways and to join their society. Because there's a lot of open space on these planets, and so that they've kind of welcomed natural increase, and because for whatever reason, anytime anybody tries to kind of move into their territory, it usually ends up that people end up leaving or just joining them, and so there's people have a very favorable feeling about the shepherds because they're just really easy to get along with, and they're happy to trade with you, and they bring kind of it's a large part of the food economy of the Five Sisters relies on the shepherds to bring in kind of what they gather and hunt. Instead of farmers. Mm-hmm. But I don't want to exposition over long here. Suffice it to say, your son is on Gorham, and perhaps you've gotten some updates over the years, perhaps over the last 2 years, about his progress. Scyntylla is in opposition. I will say this right now. Scyntylla is in opposition to Gorham and Eric's, naturally. Like as in they're on the opposite side of the sun.
Gotcha. Looking at the map here. Gorham is the megafauna world, correct?
That is correct.
Exactly. That's why most of the shepherds would be there. So if they're opposed in their orbits, it's pretty far. Got it. This is bad news.
And finally, I would like to thank the Emperor for appointing me to become the Moff during these difficult times, and I expect that we will see a newfound wave of prosperity that will bring employment and safety for everyone.
I don't like the sound of that.
And with that, there's the local Imperial liaison, the security services guy with kind of, you know, the big placard of stuff in the white uniform of the Imperial loyalty services. He pins the Moff's device onto this guy on the stage, and there's some faint applause.
I'm off anybody these days.
This is decidedly faint. So people turn to each other and like, can you get anything else? Do you know what's happening? And suddenly it's like people are trying to talk to each other because they're stymied trying to talk on their communicators and so on.
Well, 1V, it looks like now more than ever we speed those repairs up.
Yeah, I think our deal is we need to renegotiate our arrangement.
You didn't negotiate anything. You're going to be paid by the planetary government.
Well, doesn't look like there's much of a planetary government any longer.
Well, you'll be doing Imperial repairs.
It'll still be a working local government. You'll still get paid. We are transporting.
I think you need to convince me here, guys. I'm not really confident about who's going to pay these debts any longer.
Well, I assure you we can. That's what I'm saying. Listen, situation is getting of even more pressing importance. You do have to do this. With this announcement, time has become of the essence. So, in the name of the planetary government, I am commissioning your services.
Okay. All right. Well, I got that. I recorded that, just so you know. So I expect to be paid handsomely. And I'll take that as a promise. Let's go have a look at your craft.
Thank you. It's this way.
Okay.
And I shake my head a little bit too perceptibly.
All right. You hear the report of a blaster pistol far down the concourse as you're about to go through the archway again.
In the direction of our ship? Away from our ship? Someplace else?
Someplace else.
Oh, good. I kind of put my hand on my carbine, but just keep walking.
Yeah, I got my hand on mine. Oh, but when this happens, I'll say, wait a minute, what's going on?
Somebody's shooting somebody else. Haven't you ever heard that before?
I heard. So I pick up the comlink and I open to the police band frequency, right? See if I can get an inkling of what's going on.
Okay. Your civil channels are like it's
nice, and nothing on the police band?
No, that's what I mean. The police band is jammed.
Oh, it's just jammed. I'm gonna go take a look. 1V, you got a weapon. You must be combat rated. Come on, back me up on this. And I start.
What? Back you up
walking.
on what? We're supposed to fix our ship.
Shots fired. We can't.
The Imperial
let this...
Lieutenant is waving his pistol this way and that. All of you stay back. All of you stay back.
Oh, that's who we're coming upon?
The number has changed. Yeah, and he's quickly making his way out of the settlement into the gateway, and people are trying to stay as far away as they can.
I think he may have lost his marbles. I never really liked that guy.
Huh. Well, but he's not going to our ship, right? He's going to a different area of the this lieutenant is trying to break out, right?
Yeah, well, he's trying to retire. I mean, I think to the shuttlecraft.
Oh, so he is coming our way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And the shots were coming from where he was?
Where he was? He's the one firing?
That they would seem so, yes.
How far away is he?
Oh, well, I mean, he's only he's perhaps 20 feet now. Whatever incident occurred is perhaps 20 yards at the far end of the concourse.
Do the only intelligent thing to do. Lieutenant, we have found a mechanic.
Good. He will be paid handsomely.
We told him that already. Is there trouble?
Not any longer. I will be assembling my men on the walkway. Proceed with repairs.
Of course. I look right back at the mechanic. You see, everything's taken care of. You'll be handsomely paid. Now come with us. You don't want him to shoot you, do you?
No. I don't. Yes, I'm coming.
See, this is your lucky day. Just keep walking.
Lucky. That's right. Lucky. He digs into one of his pockets and finds a hostess cake and shoves it into his mouth nervously.
Organics. Perpetual food processors.
Yeah, and I love every minute of it. All right. So are you're 1V and Davian are proceeding with Severin back to the shuttlecraft?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to get an estimate. Like, how long is this going to take?
Okay. All right. The whalers are pushing off in their air speeders. Most of them are starting to leave now. It's probably about half as many air speeders as there were when you arrived. You can see that the constabulary, there's a red light on in the constabulary indicating there's some sort of alarm raised. And, because you can see the constabulary tower from the walkway.
Oh, okay.
And so the first of these, the first of the rains, which are caked with the spider webs, which sort of float through the skies of Scyntylla, are starting to throw down. And so there's this kind of this white. It's it's like when the Halloween cotton webs get wet. It's getting flung onto everything.
I'm very anxiously getting back to the shuttle to get inside. Do not want to get wet.
All right, let's have a look at this. So he's.
And you said that I see the flashing of the light from, or is it like a communicator, or is it like?
No, it's like a woo woo light, a cop light. Woo woo Woo! At the police station.
Okay.
Would you like me to hold a flashlight for you?
Yeah. So as he's, as they're starting the repairs, I draw. Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. See, I mean, I guess he's looking at the damage, right? So I'll draw the comlink and I'll constabulary. This is Officer Sur. There's a warning light flashing. What's the situation? What's going on? Damn it. Well, you get an estimate on that. I need to go back to the constabulary and make sure things are running right. Are you going to stay here, 1V? Maybe you should go with me and back me up.
Oh, I don't know why you're so worried. You can always get another prisoner. If you lose that one.
Well, government is keen on having this particular one. Let's go see what we can do.
Okay. And I look at the corpulent man and said, don't do anything stupid. The lieutenant will kill you if you do. You'll be paid handsomely. I'll be back. I just turn and start walking. Turn and start walking.
All right. So the rain continues at the same pace, with the same gunky business building up on the walkways and making them somewhat slippery. As you near the gateway, the lieutenant has gathered about 10 of his men, and 2 of them are holding another of the recruits with his arms behind his back, and just as you approach, he's very declarative. He says, "If any of you do not want to be loyal to the Empire, you need to speak up now. The rest of you, the rest of the men who have not reported for duty are now deserters. As for this one, who was caught trying to help one of these shepherds escape from the settlement and providing assistance, I suggest that all of you take note of how the Empire deals with traitors." And he shoots him in the head, and his body topples off of the walkway and into the infinite depths of the atmosphere.
Oh, it just got real. Davian says, what was that? This man gets no trial? Just a summary execution?
This is military justice. I think you should understand. You can continue with your civil justice. I'm sure the MOF will be making some changes to that organization. As I understand it, there's not a declaration of martial law yet. So we remain co-workers. I suggest you also make note of my confidence in these matters. What of the shuttlecraft?
There is a repairman evaluating the damages, expect some sort of estimate for the time the repair take, but he's working on that. I'm going to go to the constabulary and verify the status of my person.
Come on, men. Let's see if we can assist this repairman.
Well, as we walk away, I said, well, he's dead. So are we going to go shoot your prisoner now?
No. We should see what's going on. Maybe we can... hopefully this is just a heightened state of alert because of the announcements we just heard, and there's no trouble brewing. But just in case, let's verify the status of the prisoner.
Heightened state of alert?
Yes, there's an alarm at the constabulary. You could see it from outside the concourse, the landing pad.
Oh, yes. I thought you meant all the shooting and what have you.
There's that.
I'm beginning to think working for Hut was a much better job.
Perhaps it might be.
So you
That guy for selling me.
you proceed directly to the lift?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Most of the shops have now closed. The bar has gone to a slightly different tenor and has two armed bouncers in front that are they're holding. Is that a kitty?
It is.
There's two armed bouncers in the front of the bar as you pass by. It looks like whatever was going on at the far end of the concourse is now over. Is now over with, but that's a sort of just out the corner of your eye. The lift is busy, and so with it leaves. You as you walk down the concourse, you can see the lift fill up with people, and then the door closes, and so you're left waiting for the elevator, with a lot of nervous people. There's a there's a shopkeeper with kind of a nervous look. Looks at 1V and his blaster pistol and at you, and it's very obviously trying to get the number of the two of you.
Hello.
Be at ease, citizen. Just visiting the constabulary.
All right then. If you say so.
I look right at the shopkeeper. Goes, yes, conjugal visit.
Nice.
So they let you into the elevator. So like you find yourself pretty lonely in the elevator, and there's kind of two tough guys, which are probably going topside to the plateau, one floor above you, and they very nervously stand on the far side of the elevator, and everybody else just waits for the next lift and leaves it to you. You can see that they're just kind of they're holding their hands at their sides, trying to be as kind of unthreatening as possible, looking at the two of you. And the lift stops. Okay, so you walk in, and the constable is slumped over in a chair. At least appears to be stunned, and you recognize one of the recruits is frantically trying to work the communicator and he's cycling through open bands and warning. He seems to be just trying to shout out Imperial decree is called for all the shepherds to be deported to the Imperial Core. Civil administration is probationarily in transition as a new Moff is appointed. And he's just repeating the news. He's just cycling through all the he's just repeating the news. And trying to find open frequencies, yeah.
So you said the constable is not here. It's
The
just
constable,
this guy, or
constable is stunned.
out?
Constable is stunned,
stunned.
slumped
Yeah.
over in a chair, and there's this 18-year-old kid is just is just reading the news.
Into the thing.
Yeah.
Is there anybody else here? Because my hand goes to my phone immediately. See the
No.
constable. I glance over toward cells. Cells open or I don't know if
Closed.
you can see into the.
Closed.
Can I see inside? Or the prisoner?
Yeah.
Is my prisoner still?
Oh
in there?
yeah, she's there. She's smoking a cigarette and seems to have gotten some snacks. You're doing good work, kid. She shouts down the hall. I wish you'd let me out. We'll make a great team.
I'm going to walk right up to the recruit.
Mm-hmm.
Is it back to us, or is he?
Well, I mean, he remarks on you coming in, and he's just kind of he sets down the handset for a second on the dispatch desk, and then he picks it back up and he just starts again, just kind of just like it doesn't know what else to do.
Hello, would you like help with the communication system?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I put my hand on the holster
Help
and say,
me.
"Son, what's going on? You one of the constables here?"
Well, I was on the shuttle with you, officer.
Oh, one of this.
I turn right around at David. David's like, I think he's a reporter. And I turn right back. Sir, here, let me try to help you with this.
What's the matter with the constable? Is he stunned? Is he unconscious? And I rush over to look at him.
I think he's gonna live. I didn't mean to. I needed to do something.
Calm down, son. What's going on? I mean,
You know my uncle is Senator Starloss, right?
I did not know that, son. But
Well, I don't know that. Did you see there's a moth now?
we heard on the comm system.
And
I don't think it's.
you know the Empire dissolved the Senate.
No, that much wasn't in the broadcast.
Oh, it happened just before the Death Star. They were very proud to tell us that.
Oh, I see. Why are you still reading the communique? The message came out. I don't think the comm nets are working properly.
I don't know. I don't think there's anything else for me to do now.
Are you not joining the rest of your platoon? Everybody else is gathered at the landing pad.
No, I'm not gonna participate. I'm not gonna be party to that.
Oh, that's right. You're a deserter. They're going to shoot you in the head.
I'm not gonna. My grandfather didn't die in the Clone Wars, forcing the Separatists out of these planets to keep them from stealing our neighbors off to some training camps. We didn't fight to see them taken away again. That's not what we did.
I understand, son. I understand. But staying here is not going to be safe for you.
No, you're right. No, it doesn't. No one's safe anywhere anymore. You're right.
Perhaps. Is he wearing like a uniform?
I mean, yeah, he's got like a PT attire, like because they did a long march on another plateau island, and so they were coming back to their base.
Uh-huh.
So he's kind of minimally garbed.
Got it. Why did you shoot the constable, son?
I couldn't think of another way to let me use the radio.
Why do you need to use his radio?
What else is there to do? What else can I do? Was there anything else to do? I'm gonna go. You can let me go if you want. And he sets his carbine down on the counter. He says, "I'm gonna leave. If you want to stop me, that's for you to decide."
I'll look around. Are there security cameras? In this
Everywhere.
room?
Everywhere.
Son, you realize your face is plastered all over these security cameras. If you run now from the Empire, you're going to have to keep on running. Might come after you.
I think there's a lot of people who are going to be running.
Things too.
You know what they did at the Jedi Temple, so I don't think it'll be much different here.
Well, go hide. Make sure you get to others like you. They'll need to hide you, and you should get rid of those clothes as soon as possible.
He's already gone. I mean, like
Okay.
if he doesn't think you're going to shoot him, like he just leaves.
Yeah. No.
Oh, wait a minute. He's going to walk out?
Yeah.
All right, well, I'm putting my carbine on stun and shoot him in the back.
Wait, what are you doing, 1V?
I just told him just whack, just do the stun, the green stun, and whack.
Whoop.
I looked back and was like, "There's cameras all over the place. We can't just be seen letting him walk out. Are you out of your mind?"
No. We got to get rid of these cameras is what we got to do.
Oh, okay. I put it back on. I put it back on stun and start shooting out the cameras.
What?
So she yells. She yells from the cell block, and she's, I could have told you how to scrub the data from those things, and you wouldn't have had to make all that racket. She shouts over the blaster fire.
Yeah, but there's just an absolute I'm like, I've got the kid stunned on the ground. I'm like,
So I think this is a good moment to ask what the prisoner is doing. What were the charges? Why was I carrying her back? Because I had no idea.
Okay, so she was she was caught she was caught tampering with communications equipment. She was caught tampering with a satellite uplink device. And so she's trespassing on communications company property.
All right. So,
And she was reported and detained with a citizen's arrest by a group of shepherds on the other island.
Carvist, or whatever your name is, you want to get out of here?
Seems wise.
All right. So here's the deal.
Unless this is the hill you want to die on. I mean,
That seems to be a theme today. Well, I'm gonna need you to do something for me. I scrubbed the data from these computers. No evidence that we were here. Uh, I'm not planning on going back to the shuttle and getting in with these. These are troubled times. I need to get to my son. He's on Gorham. I need to get off this rock, and I don't want the whole Empire coming after me.
Wait. Hold on. Hey, you're not going back to the shuttle?
No.
That seems like your best hope. I mean, I don't know if you've looked at. Let's take a step outside with me if you're gonna. I mean, and she starts. I mean, she starts working on the computer system for a moment,
Mm-hmm.
and but I suggest you look in the sky.
Yeah, I look.
So just through the pall. Well, I don't know. Just through the pall of the hurricane, and in the waning light, one of the moonlets, one of Scyntylla's little moonlets, like Phobos or Deimos, just small little rocks, is starting to rise, and next to, or like a Pinocchio's nose jutting from the moon is the wedge of an Imperial Star Destroyer.
Yeah. Well, this changes things. And there weren't any more like speeders transport in the landing pad there.
Well, you look down from the constabulary tower, and you can see a few beat up whalers. You see one especially that looks like there's nobody getting on it right now. This does not look attended to. You're also standing in the carport where there are two cop cars parked.
Yeah.
But they are land speeders. But those are land speeders.
Yeah, so they're localized to this plateau. Are the whalers planetary ships like air speeders, or are they seaworthy vessels?
No, they're open topped.
Okay, so these are planetary vehicles. So I'll tell her, perhaps we can commandeer one surface speeders and get to a different place.
In this storm,
Is the storm too bad already? Is it way off this rock?
I don't know why you're. I mean, I suppose neither of you are whalers, but I mean, this is what these buckets of bolts are built for. I mean, of course these guys risk a lot, but they, certainly this is how they make their money.
of course. I would survive going to off planet in one of those. I don't think either of you would.
No, but we could get somewhere else and maybe catch transport off planet. If our shuttle is damaged, we still don't know how those repairs are. So that means we're stuck here. Stabulary's been stunned. We're basically working on a jail breakout. We should leave and get lost in the confusion. The alternative is she goes back in the cell, and then what? We leave
Oh,
her
no,
behind
no, honey. No. I'm not going back in there. Thank you very much.
That's what I'm saying. I say we get off.
And
Moss Landing.
her eyes turn to the carbine that the private left on the counter.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna go grab.
I'll grab the carbine while I'm talking.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I
here's
think
the
I'll
deal.
grab the stuff off the private, like his like any insignias, his name badge, that sort of stuff.
Okay.
I'm gonna take all that stuff off.
Okay.
So I tell her, you know what? I'm going to think.
Unfortunately,
Might
as you
I-
do so, You notice that he's tattooed with his name and rank and so on.
Okay, that's fine. But that's not what I want.
Okay.
I just want like any kind of physical.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Evidence that I've encountered him.
So, Davian, you were saying, pardon me. Oh, dear.
Discord freezes every once in a while.
Yeah, I don't know. Do we have Davian?
No, he looks a little frozen.
He looks a little frozen.
Well, I'll either come back. Let's see if every once in a while Discord hiccups. He's had this happen a couple to come back.
How do y'all work on coming back?
Sometimes you may have to just log right out. You may have to log out and log back in. But I recall as a game master once he completely froze, which was kind of entertaining.
Okay, let me see. Yeah, this is the perils of using effectively beta software. So yeah, we can't. Okay, let's just restart the call. That's fine.
Well, I mean, no, you don't have to. You can just get out and then get back in.
I know, but he has to realize that he's out. Let's see. I have a message. As you sending to Aloy that he's frozen.
That's right.
All right,
but
so
he saw it. So in the meantime,
yeah.
Okay. In the meantime,
that is promising. So you're gathering up stuff from the constabulary, and
and I'm just taking like any kind of survey of are there any other planetary or planet-worthy vehicles around.
Okay, so looking out of the constabulary window, you peer down onto the landing pads, and you're looking for space-worthy?
That's right.
Okay.
If there aren't. I'm just looking for beyond hope before I try my next little line of attack.
I think you could. I think it would require a flip of a destiny point for a stroke of luck of that nature.
Okay.
That's what I would say.
Alrighty. So in that case, what am I actually doing? I'm on the.
I think you're. I think you're flipping the destiny point if there is indeed a light side point to flip, and then I will say, I'm trying
to figure out how to do that on the dice set. What do I do?
It's the top row, I believe, and there's some sort of interaction with that. And since we've reached the point of mild comedy.
Oh, I removed the destiny point. I guess there was just one destiny point, and now I used it. Awesome.
Very good then.
No, just one black destiny point. That's great.
It looks like some folks have hung out with us. I have not looked at Stream Chat this entire time because I'm in this full screen theater.
Always got an internet hiccup. Anyhow, yeah. So we're flipping a destiny point. So now, as I'm looking,
okay. So you peer down, and as you look at the various trophies, the skulls of sky whales, and the battle droid heads that festoon that whaler's craft that you initially bespied, underneath of all the skin, you can make out the hull of a space-worthy craft. You can make out a decrepit old Corellian intersystem shuttle hull. That it's definitely not been in space for quite a while, but that was, at least originally, its purpose in life.
Oh, wonderful. Well, it's not exactly filled with Imperial officers. It's good.
No. No, it's not. And for the moment, you notice that the platoon of men has retired to their shuttlecraft.
Excellent. Well, I think perhaps the best course of action would be to steal the Corellian shuttle, if there's nobody around.
Well, if the shuttlecraft is on one of the furthest landing pads from the gateway to the settlement, there is a fair distance to this landing pad that this shuttle is on. This old Corellian jalopy.
Right.
It's not you to say no one is around is from your vantage, yes. It doesn't I mean the place has gotten pretty deserted.
Right. And so we don't have to necessarily walk there. There are top speeders.
That's an interesting notion. Yes, the land speeder would certainly it would kind of glide to a slow crash landing from that height. Yeah, it's definitely above the safety fall to take it off the cliff. In that's kind of a sudden way. It's not it'd be difficult. It's not infeasible though. You might. I don't have a suitable Deuce of Hazzard quote to alight with. Yeah. Thelma and Louise is perhaps another piece of imagery.
Okay, well, no, I was thinking just flying it there safely. I don't want to necessarily, kill us on our way there. We can walk, I suppose. That's not the end of the world.
Well, I mean, I just never saw Luke's land speeder go off any sweet jumps. I'm imagining it's one of those ground the cop cars are those kind of ground vehicle things that just kind of cars.
I would do this. I just don't want to do it without Lieutenant.
Well,
I don't want to kill his character.
Yeah, let's.
Let him be here.
I'm going to. I think I'm gonna get a drink, and let's figure out how we're doing after that. I'll switch to our this screen.
I'll hang tough in the meantime.
Okay.
Well, this is kind of one of those things. Free software is pretty cool, but every once in a while, stuff happens. Although in this case, I think it's Eloy's internet hiccup, because I don't think they've ever been quite the same after the hurricane last year. So every once in a while, his internet goes out. Or Jose's internet goes out, and then we catch them again. Eloy has frozen for us before, but we are in a bit of a pickle here, as we are finally entering into Age of Rebellion territory. Perhaps we're choosing a different path, and we'll see what happens. Well, haven't heard anything back from them yet. I'm wondering if we need to do cliffhanger.
We sure do that a lot.
We do. Oh, wait. Okay, he's rebooting everything. Router's gone insane. It could
Very
be
good.
Could be just.
I suspect teenagers.
So let's just take this for ha-has. If I want to take the three of us on a speeder and figure, well, let's get there really fast and do a Dukes of Hazzard, shooting off the cliff. And my intention is to get us there without killing us. How difficult would that be?
I think without regard to the survival of the speeder, 3.
Oh yeah, screw the speeder.
Yeah, 3.
Oh, 3.
It's three and a setback die for being off label.
Right, but I'm a skill jockey.
Well, there you.
I will. See, I get rid of that one setback.
I know, but I'm still gonna. I'm always gonna mention that setback die though.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So that would be piloting planetary, which gives me 1 yellow die and green dice. So it's not great odds, but it's not that terrible. So the question is, do I just do this and then we tell Lloyd what happened afterwards, or do we wait for him to return? Never want to endanger somebody without their consent.
Oh, there we go. We're loading up some of the stream chat for some. Okay, all right. So this is David Dishington, our friend David Sems, who hangs out, and Sam was around. Well, all right. Anyway, some people were here. That was fun. Hi, people. Okay, we have a message. Perhaps you.
That's me.
Oh, you sending something. Okay. This is a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
So I completely. One thing that I neglected was that I was. Yeah, I could have been rolling from my phone. I can be rolling stuff from my phone. But it's very
Yeah,
odd.
I got the app. I like the this particular application or whatever the I forget what the name of the dice roller is, but it's very good. It's one I think used to be Owen Mead.
It's. I mean, we seem to have gotten a fair number.
Dice rollers.
It's duplicated a lot of results, but other than that,
no, it is a good. I mean, as far as being all able to kind of roll dice, sometimes in a lot of online games, rolling the dice, nobody needs to see the result. You just say, okay, I got a 6, or I got 20%. But the way these things are, when you've got those various symbols happening all at once, there's something really cool about everybody being able to see it. You're like, oh man, that's awful, or that's really awesome, and it gives you all the dice to begin with, so you see what you got, and then it shows you what the final result. That's really cool. I like that one an awful lot.
The Destiny pool is something that I feel like it. I mean, in this case, since we didn't roll. I mean, it's literally just as big as 2 today,
right?
But you can roll a Destiny pool that's like feasibly could be as big as 8.
Right.
When 4 people are playing.
The Destiny pool is something that right.
So but then again, it's just a tracker. I mean, it's a nice thing that for everybody to see. I think, but maybe it just doesn't matter. Like like as long as you have 1, you're going to use it. The system intent there is one thing that it's not clear. Like, should you be loath to flip your last point?
I don't think so.
That's
for me to find a freighter.
Yeah, the book doesn't see it. The books and all the advice seem to say, yeah, you should totally flip the last one. Just go ahead, do it.
Right. I think it's a good idea.
So then the question is like, well, maybe you don't really need to know that. Like, I don't know. It's sort of like the whole momentum and threat. Like, do you need to know? Do you not need to know?
Yeah, I think for this, it's pretty cool to have that nice little visual.
So what do you?
Think we maybe.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
I think we may be losing a lie here.
Yeah. I think it might be gone that way.
Well, let's see. No, you said 3 difficulty, and and too difficult to get down there without regard for the health of the shuttle.
Without the regard for the police speeder, yeah.
All right. It just seems like it might be really prudent to get there as fast as possible.
Well, you don't have to ride the elevator again.
Right, exactly. And things are getting dicey, and what could possibly go wrong?
What could possibly go wrong?
So,
I will say, yeah. I mean, I mean, if you want to go out there and power up one of these police speeders, you get an idea that the weather is starting to turn,
right?
And that there's maybe another setback die in there.
2 setback dice. Oh, that's terrible. I can only destroy one of them. What could possibly go wrong? What can I possibly do to get a boost die? I have nothing fictionally to contribute to get a boost die.
That's a sort of, I mean, we're sort of like in this head space, which is, I can think of some things, but I'm not sure I should think of them for you.
Right. I understand.
Because that seems so, so much like that's part of the role playing. I don't know. Like it's very like there's some things in the system where it's like, is this role playing or is this cinematography?
Right.
Or storytelling type stuff. Okay. Aloy sends his regrets.
Yeah. Well then. I say we do the jump.
Okay. Yeah.
But you narrate the results next time.
Yeah, I know. I think it'd be much more interesting to resume with a in medias res in the shuttlecraft than to leave all this mess of the settlement and everything.
Right, but I think. What do you think? Do you think we should make the roll now? Oh, that's very unfair. All right, well, we won't do that because we won't do that to Aloy. So
well, I mean, I will telegraph that. I mean, I don't intend to throw a red die into it with a tragedy. With the potential tragedy, but
you do not. Okay. Well then, what the hell? They say I roll a dice.
Yeah, I mean, it's curse of knowledge because if I had said I'm going to do a rib, but I think that's mean spirited to do it now, or to do it on this sort of action is what I mean to say, because you just saw it. It seemed like anyway. Yeah. So if you want to roll three green and 1 black, and we can round this out with a exciting.
Right. Okay, let's see what could possibly go wrong.
Yeah, what could possibly go wrong?
As I pilot the 3 of us off, and I roll the dice. Did it work? Did anything come up?
I've received transmission.
That's awesome.
All right, we're at
two successes, no threats, no despairs, nothing. Just two successes.
It's just 2 clean net successes. Okay, all right.
2 clean net successes. Yeah, then I had advantages, but there were a couple threats to cancel those out.
With an
from the.
All right.
So We'll find out what that actually looks like.
No, I will narrate the extra success because there's not a lot of extra stuff. So right on target, the speeder comes in and having just the right amount of horizontal momentum, the repulsor kicks in and it looks like it would fly again. It takes a lot of system strain, and there's a groaning. There's a shunt which gives out, and there's a hiss of steam, and some sort of brake line squirts all over your leg.
Listen, man, it looks like a General Lee just flying down the mountain, smashing and a bumping, and landing, skidding right in front of that. Perhaps abandoned, perhaps not abandoned Corellian shuttle.
All right. Well, very good. I've enjoyed the pace of this. I could have been slightly more. I work on trying to figure out how much stuff is going to happen in a session, and this is educational for this system.
You never know.
Yeah.
All right, man.
All right.
Well, let's pick this up and find out what happens. We'll figure out when we're gonna play this one next.
Okay. Yeah, because this is definitely like another in the middle of things. Have a good night.
Right on. You too, man. And with the three of us, it might be more workable to do it on a different evening, right?
This is true.
We'll find out.
This is true.